Sophia, we actually received overwhelming response. So Fatin was telling me about how every time you log on Instagram, we see your face.
Yes.
We received, I think, over 500 likes for the session. Questions were coming from all different directions. So everybody who dropped in questions will select the top 2, and we promise Starbucks vouchers. But besides the point, I think you want to know the answers from Sophia. So what we've done is actually to summarize quite a number of them, because a lot of you are also asking similar questions. So we'll get you to answer them. So maybe we will get started now to just
Sure.
have you introduce yourself a bit. Sophia, I know you are the head of talent attraction and workplace futurization. You lead a lot of things, especially the GMAP, which is the Global Maybank Apprentice, and then we also got the Go Ahead Challenge. You look at future of workplace and workforce and getting everything ready for digitization. Maybe you can share a bit more about that part. What you do.
All right. Thanks, Nada. Thanks, GRADUAN, for having me here. It's definitely my first doing a live. I have attended a lot, but definitely first in this experience, a lifetime experience. So what I do is talent attraction is that I look into different ways of attracting talents into the bank, and that's why you often see me engaging a lot of different groups of people, and day in day out I actually meet a lot of very, very different people as well. So that is the one part of what I do. The other part of what I do is looking into how to prepare the workforce to be future ready. That includes working in collaboration with different groups of people in Maybank, be it reconfiguring the workforce, be it looking into different benefits, compensation that would actually enable the workforce, so that as you know, there are a lot of new normals coming up. So that is actually the other part of what I do in the bank.
That's what you do in the bank. But just to get to know you a bit more, for example, how long have you been in Maybank? How's the working environment like? I know you like yellow, and I know you love Maybank. So
yes, I actually put up a very yellow top here. So just to let you know that I've been with the bank for about 11 years and counting still. So if I may share with everyone here is that I stumbled upon my career in the bank is actually by chance, and I did not plan out my career to be a banker or even a HR professional. So I'm not sure if any one of you actually know this. I'm not sure whether you know this. I'm actually a biotech graduate. So here, so here I am, in the bank and in HR as well. So obviously it's definitely by chance, but then the choice is to actually continue to stay on. And that's what I've been doing, or I've been growing in this bank. And I think what I do is that I actually have a lot of passion for people, especially the young ones. And I manage the Global Maybank Apprentice Program, so you can imagine the people that I meet and the people that I have conversations with, the heartaches that they give me, the all sorts of conversations that I get into. I think these are the people who give me a lot of energy, and that's where I source a lot of my energy from these people. So yeah, and rightly how you pointed out is that I love yoga. So I try to squeeze in an hour of yoga every day. I was actually very, very disciplined in the beginning of the MCO. Then as time goes by, maybe every 2 days, and then maybe every 3 days, or maybe over the weekend only. So I actually do a lot of yoga.
Okay. So now that a lot of us are working from home, there's a lot of new normals. How is your work from home schedule? Is it different from what you expected? Have you started baking, or is your yoga? I know you've been a bit more lenient with your yoga, but is it headed to, are you doing it more now?
Obviously, I do a lot more, but I think my work from home schedule has been quite productive if you were to ask me, because I guess the fact that I can Zoom or I can be on a video conference call from one meeting to another meeting, and the activities can range from doing a live session in this hour, and then the next 15 minutes I'll be in a work meeting with my boss, then probably I'll be on a conversation with my niece, and yeah, so activities have been very, very different, and how they switch from, it's in a matter of minutes. And that's where it is actually quite interesting. And sometimes, I also have to rewire my mind and say, hey, where am I? Which meeting am I on? And all of that. But I think the good side of all of this would be the fact that in the last few weeks or a month, I've actually connected with a lot more people than I actually connected with in the 2 months before MCO. My record right now stands at about 1,000 plus, and I think the good part of being able to actually work from home and be connected virtually, I've been able to reach out to a lot of people that I haven't been able to because of various reasons, logistically, and the dates and all of that. So this whole work from home virtual connection has given me a lot of opportunity to be to engage with so many different groups of people, different types of people. And in fact, I meet my colleagues even more so during work from home than in office. I meet them almost every day, and sometimes not even once, but twice, 3 times a day. Yeah. So that has been my work from home, and personally, I have not taken any food delivery. So I intend and fully intend to keep up to this record. I'm not sure whether it's going to last for another month, but my record was actually by 12th of May. I will make sure that no single food delivery at all.
Wow. So now you need to do it up to 9 June. So we'll see the best.
Let me see whether I can tahan for another month.
Yeah. Okay. Well, GRADUAN's been working with Maybank for some time now, and what personally I've noticed is that Maybank is very big on digital initiatives. We've been doing this long before the MCO, long before COVID started, when it was actually something new. And you've actually taken advantage of this time to connect with more people, like you've said. And one thing that I've noticed is that how active Maybank is on IG, especially with your digital series of Defy to Define. And I also understand that today there's going to be a session with Dato Farid. There's so many different things happening. Maybe you can share more about that.
If I were to bring everyone back to even before MCO, even before WHO announced this as a pandemic, Maybank did make a very conscious decision that we decided not to partake in a lot of large gatherings, career fairs. Reason why is also not just for the safety of our people, but it's also for the safety of the community. Even I think we initiated our business continuity plan back in early mid or late Jan. So I think the idea is to actually to ensure that people around us are safe, right? The community that we operate in, they are all safe. So even then we started a lot of we noticed that how do we go ahead with the connection? How do we ensure that without the physical interactions, we are still interacting with the people that who want to interact with us? So we've actually done up a lot of a series of digital engagements. We've had actually many conversations, individual conversations, to see, hey, you know what? Tell us what you really want to know from us. I mean, given that physical career fairs are not there anymore, so how else do you want to reach out to us? And then we've studied all these conversations, and we told them that why not give you a hand in defining what you want to learn? Why not give you a hand in defining what you want to hear from us? Because we also don't want to short sendiri and say, oh, this is what you want to hear, and then that's what we want to share with you. So from all these conversations that we've done, and I said, the team and myself and all of us, actually, we came together and say, okay, based on all of these conversations, we look into how we can design those engagements even more interactive via virtual platforms. So, and one thing we've noticed is that physical career fairs would be something that you only see during that 1 day, 2 days, right? So we thought that, hey, why not? It's not stopping us from having a 2 month long engagement, right? So, and we've got so many groups of people that we want to engage with. We want to meet so many different groups of people as well. So then, hence, Defy to Define came about, and the whole idea is that we want to do more than just a physical career fair. That's why we don't exactly call ourselves like, oh, we are doing a virtual career fair, because a career fair is only limited to,
Career.
yeah, and only very limited to, oh, I'm here to deposit my resume, and I'm here to have a career conversation with you, and that's about it. So that's why we actually came up with this Defy to Define, to ensure that if you want to know more about Global Maybank Apprentice Program, for example, you don't only hear it from me, because no point hearing it just from the HR folk. You want to hear it from the people who are currently in the program, so that you know what happens in the program, what it takes to be part of the program. So the Defy to Define, we've got a lot of activities, and they are all defined by people who actually want to know more, and what are the things that they want to know more. So those activities are designed along that line. And also, more importantly, is that I think this one is, you can see it is not just at a younger level who are sharing their experiences, their insights, even right up to EXCOs. And today we've got Maybank's Group PCO joining us as well. So as you can see, this has definitely reshaped and redefined a lot of engagements. And now we know that you want to talk to the man himself, and this is where we are giving it to you, and the opportunity and the platform is all yours. So yeah, so that's Defy to Define, and we've been very pleased. I think up to date, we've got close to 2,000 people that we've actually engaged over this 1 month plus. Yeah, and also, of course, with the help of a lot of collaboration, the partners that we've been working with, like for example GRADUAN. So yeah, so I think that's also one of the insights that we've gathered, is that we are not here alone just running activities. We are also involving our other partners, and we've also heard that our audiences want to hear from them too. So that's why we've done collaborations with so many different partners, and you get a more holistic perspective rather than just hearing it from Maybank. Yeah.
I like that part of it. I also have been seeing what you've actually done on Defy to Define, and sometimes I actually see some of your GMAppers exercising and actually sharing their experience. It's really, really cool, I think it's real. So I think that's really nice. So one thing that, we've been doing a lot of lives, we receive a lot of questions. Everyone's asking us, are employers hiring? And all the employers are saying that yes, they are hiring. The market is still open, but it's just that they're going to be obviously a bit more selective, where they want, the cream. Or someone that actually fits the organization. So the biggest question we receive now is actually for someone who's, for example, interested to start or grow their career with Maybank. What are some skills to stand out? Because you're actually meeting a lot of them virtually from all over the world. I mean, when we did Unconvinced 2 weeks back, we received candidates from all around the world tuning in. That was really, really cool. But now they're asking us, okay, so how do I stand out? Competition is no longer just between me and my friends. It's become borderless, which has made things a bit trickier for a candidate now. So how do they stand out in your eyes?
Obviously, I've always been a believer that what differentiates humans is that is what is unique of the person. So for you to stand out, I guess that's also something that you have to ask yourself, whether how much can you identify yourself, you can identify yourself for what and all. Because I can also share with you, I do understand the predicament, because for GMAP, I think yearly we get about 60,000 applications. So I've actually given this example before. So if let's say for a recruiter to actually go through all the profiles, right, and then that's where you can actually see I've also seen, same copies of resumes, and it was just with different names, different picture, and personal details are a little bit different. I'm sure this is something that a lot of recruiters actually do share in common.
Yeah.
But if the intention is not there to differentiate yourself, I guess, that's where it is even more difficult for us as employers' point of view to be able to see how different are you from individual A to another individual. So the question is that if you do want to stand out, what's so different in you, and what is that one thing that people can identify you for? So if that's something that you are still in the midst of figuring out, I guess that's where you got to really tell yourself that, hey, go out and be connected with even more people. So that's how you know how different you are, because you can't be sitting at home and sitting in this chair and say, oh, I'm like, how are you going to figure out that how different you are, right? And being different is not for the sake of being different, but then it is also something that people can see Sophia as Sophia. People can see Nada as Nada. So I guess that would actually be something that you have to really self-reflect and ask yourself. And this differentiation, you cannot get it from employers, and you cannot be expecting employers to be able to differentiate you. But what employers like Maybank can do is that we provide the platform for you to differentiate yourself. And you tell us what exactly you're good at, what exactly, it is not in the interview that you tell me that, you get some of the recruiters asking, hey, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses? And then most often than not, I think some of you here would actually give us, similar answers to, I have very good teamwork spirit, I work very well under stress, and all of that. So you see, the responsibility is not just on the employer's side to differentiate. You've got to tell us, if let's say you are a very strong team player, how do you showcase that? That's why slightly more progressive employers will be able to, or they've got the resources to be able to design platforms, various avenues for you to show and tell us, okay, you are actually very strong as a team player, you work very well under stress, and all of that. So yeah, so look out for those opportunities, and that's where you can really identify yourself, you can really differentiate yourself from others.
Yeah, it's true. You need to also know yourself, but you need to get out there to know yourself. Like you said, sitting at home is not gonna help you find out more about yourself. So
although everyone is sitting at home now, but yeah, so there are so many virtual opportunities.
Yeah. So I'm gonna dive straight into the questions we've been receiving from the audiences. So there was one viewer that actually submitted a long question about this, which I've summarized into one statement: can a woman in the corporate world have it all? So basically, are there some compromise that a woman has to make in order to climb the ladder? Is there such thing as a glass ceiling? I know you just had the session with Datuk Nora yesterday, focusing on Mother's Day, and I think the question is actually apt for those who missed that session. Maybe you can share more, from your experience as a woman as well.
I think from women's perspective, having it all, it is very much down to the individual. How do you define what all is to you? So my all may be very different from Nada's all, for example, and we go through very, very different experiences, very different things in different juncture of our lives. So which is why if you are figuring out that why is she so successful, or why is she able to do everything and everything, I think the question is back onto yourself as well, is that what is your all? And my all right now is that I do my best in everything that I do, especially in youth engagement. I ensure that I can design different engagements so that they are relevant for students and graduates. But then at the end of the day is that some people might see that as, you sure you want to spend that number of hours in this? And there are so many things out there, XYZ things that you can do. So I would really say that what is the question to the to the to the person who asked this question is that what is your all? And I think the definition of your all is it stays with you, and it doesn't mean that it has to be compared to another person, because everyone goes through very different circumstances and different experiences.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, you've seen how I juggle different things, and it really depends on what's important to you. And I think time management is number one. That allowed me to go to the gym, still cook, still go to work, still spend time with my son. So it's really up to you what do you want and how you make time and allocate time in your day, because there's that 24 hours and it's up to you where you actually allocate your time and your energy to.
Correct.
So next, are robots taking over the world, Sophia? So
I think that's really the reality of things. I'm sure as we progress through our lives, and we do know that robots are here to actually make us humans more efficient, right? So I think even more important that humans got to be more humans. So
Yes.
which means you really got to see how different you are from robots. So I can give you an example that I personally am not a believer of people to who actually run workshops and say how do you actually write your resume, how do you ace your interviews and all of that. Reason why is not because I guess the intention is to help, but then the intention is not to teach people. Imagine a recruiter telling you what to say and you say it back to the recruiter. So it is actually it defeats the whole purpose again for recruiters like ourselves to know, actually what's so different of you in you that you stand out from the rest of the other applicants. So the thing is that we don't want you to be robots, because if I were to teach you, you have to say A B C D E, and then everyone in that workshop would actually be saying A B C D E back to me. So then again, it's that you're just making yourselves being a lot more robotic than you should. And I believe based on my previous interactions, engagements that I've done with so many different groups of students and graduates, I think at the end of the day is that you have to think of yourself as a human, and how you can really be more human, and especially in times like when you're really working with robots. I think that's something that we cannot deny. The robots are actually here, and they are here to help us. At the end, the information is fed by humans. So how do you want to work with humans is they learn from us, right? So you want to see them as a partner in this workforce, or in the world that we are living in, and not them taking over whatever that we are doing.
I totally agree with you. You need to see how we can actually take advantage of them. They're supposed to make life easier for us so we can do more, instead of being threatened that, oh no, my job is at stake or is at risk. I think it's more of, okay, how do I then use this to climb up more or learn new skills so that I can control it better, those things.
I think, which is why in the bank, how we recruit is that we don't even look at which model you're from. You look at robots, right? It's always which version, which model you're from, right? We don't actually only look into your university, your discipline, or your CGPA. In fact, all of these are just part of the consideration. It doesn't mean that you are a 3.5 CGPA that means you belong in a certain category, and that's where you get shortlisted for the next step. Because I myself, I've actually also met with a lot of very good students, probably in a CGPA of 4.0, for example. I think they are really brilliant students. But what we are looking at is that what can you do with the 4.0 CGPA?
True.
How do you translate that? That model is good enough. It lets us know that you're a super good student. But how do you translate that? I think that's the part where, for students or aspiring graduates who are looking into joining an organization or any other jobs out there, I think that's the first thing that you really got to find out. And it's going to be a journey of discovery. You are not going to be able to figure everything out, even at the point of graduation and say I know what I've got my life planned out.
Yeah.
That's not the case.
Yeah. So actually, you answered one of the questions was, is there a specific uni or certain template of a characteristic that you actually, think will do well in Maybank? So no, you look at the whole person, and that's why it's important for everyone to actually grow holistically. And I think you give platforms for them to do that. Now, I wanted to ask you, because you said you've been in Maybank for so long and working on this is actually your passion. So how do you find that passion and true value in your career? Like for you, I mean, you started really young and from a background that's totally different from what you're doing now. Somewhere along those lines, where did you find it, Sophia, in your journey?
Honestly, I think, from that transition from a scientist to the bank, I was legit in my ponytail, in my lab coat all the time. So you can imagine at a point in time entering the world of banking, it was pretty daunting. And but I made that choice because I made that choice that I knew I didn't want to be in science. So I think many students would also, you may not know exactly where you're headed to, but you know where you don't want to be in. So that was the case for me in my earlier days. So when I joined the bank and I went through very similar program, the Global Maybank Apprentice program too. So I did my rotations and all of that. So I think I shared this example a few times where I said I had my resignation letter in my drawer in the first 2 months. So I need to be very honest, because any form of transition, there will be some form of resistance. And I can tell you that that first 2 months, the letter was signed, but it's just not dated. It was in my drawer. I don't think my boss knows about this. I'm not sure whether she's watching this or not. But then I had my letter, resignation letter there. But what someone very wise actually did tell me this, Sophia, why don't you give yourself a year? And really see after you go through that transition whether you actually find yourself comfortable there or not. So I did, which I really did, and after the 1 year, I actually I think last day on my first year tenure with the bank is that I tore that that resignation letter, and that was when I decided to stay on in HR, because that was actually my last rotation in the program. So if you ask me how to find that passion, first thing first is that again, it's the same sentiment of you must actually go out and go and find it, go and it's a journey of learning. It is not that it's not like a match made in heaven where you go and find, and then you find it, and then you'll be happily ever after. So that passion, yeah, it doesn't work that way, and passion grows as you go. So which is why how I really figured out I really enjoy connecting with people, doing something that matters for students and graduates. I think if I must say, is the Maybank Go Ahead Challenge. I've been doing it for the past 8-9 years, and I literally grew in that project. The project didn't grow with I grew together with the project, and I've learned so much, and it's no longer just a baby project, but now it has a responsibility on its own. Now whenever we actually run this, people actually ask us, when is MJC starting, when is it happening? Yeah, so it has become such a responsibility to the community, and which is something that I myself, the team, the bank, all of us, we've got a passion together to bring this responsibility and carry out this responsibility for people who are really, really interested in this. So I think the question you've got to really ask yourself, especially when it comes to something as deep as passion, is that would you fight for it or not? Do you sense that fulfillment in you when you do it? And MJC comes with a lot of blood, sweat and tears. I think for people who have seen me running MJC for so many years, I'm sure they have, they actually see a seasonal me. So when I'm deep in, like knee deep in MJC, you probably don't even see my eyes at all. So I think Nada, you've actually seen me
of course, in for the past 9 years now, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, so I met you, I think, when that time when it was just starting and you were just telling me about it. And now when we went for last year's, the closing party, I'm surprised that it's grown into a different monster. Your applications are global now. Your prizes are really amazing. The opportunities you give these candidates, and I know so many people who've actually gone through it and have come out so much better. So it's a really, really cool program, Sophia. Well done to you and the team for coming up with it. And others also talk about it all the time, just so you know.
That's very good. So yeah, so even I think the greatest test to passion, it is not only in fun times, because I think many people only see that when you're passionate, you're having fun, that means you're enjoying your work. I think the greatest test is that when you're not having fun, will you continue to fight for it or not? Trust me, so many times in MJC, I've actually asked myself, why am I this? Why am I doing this? And should I even continue doing this? And I draw a lot of energy. I actually take a lot of energy from the team or from the people around me who actually believe in this too. From the people around us who actually hoping for a life-changing experience, which is something that I think that's our promise to the people, and we have to deliver it, right? So so whether or not will the passion for this continues is as we grow, we look for different things that will motivate us, will drive us. And I think the one last test of all is that would you even stand up and fight for the project or fight for your idea when even it is against someone more senior than you, but you know that you just need to get your ideas across. It is not a matter of you want to go against, but it's for the benefit of the project that will you go for it or not. I think that's the test of knowing that that's the passion that you have for it.
And you will only realize it once you're there, right? When you're like, no, but I need to put this point out, and then you realize like, oh, I didn't know I felt so heavily or so much for this. I think a lot of graduates these days, where the job market is going to be quite challenging, where they should be a bit more open to look at opportunities. Maybe when they start off, like you said, passion will develop with time. So it's good to try it out, even though it might not be something that you pictured or something like that.
I think especially in times like now, if I may add, right? A lot of people may think that, oh, this is not what I want to do, or this is not, something that we should be doing. That's not the offer that I'm looking for, and all of that. I think I'm sure a lot of you must have spent quite a few moments outside, just looking outside from the window. And I do that almost every day, just looking outside. There's nothing else to look at, so so I'll just look outside, and I on the streets, I probably now you actually see more cars, but before that, in the earlier days of MCO, you will usually see a few specific colors. For example, green, pink, orange, they are all on the street. They are the riders who actually deliver your food deliveries, right? So but if you ask me, are they not important? I think they are like super critical. I think this has redefined, what essential really means to all of us, the frontliners, and our people who are servicing at the branches, the people who are ensuring that our business continues and all of that. So I think it goes back down to your perception on whether you should not be thinking that there is no job in this world that is beneath you. I guess every job that you go into, or every experience that you go into, there will be some form of learning, and when you learn from it, other opportunities will come your way, and you don't know what you don't know as well.
I totally agree with that. They are the ones who are essential right now. They are running the biggest companies in Malaysia. So every time they deliver anything, I always make sure we thank them, because if not, you won't receive your packages, work can't get done. So there's a lot of things that they've actually helped everyone.
Your shopping parcels, for example.
Exactly, very important right now. So if GMAP, like, I'm going to go back to there. Are you still accepting applications, or will it be different this year? What can people expect for the program?
GMAP, definitely. For those of you who have asked the question, I think I saw quite a number of questions along GMAT. It stands for Global Maybank Apprentice Program, and I think the greatest feature of this program is that it actually takes in people all year round. So to your question is that even if it's MCO, non-MCO, pandemic, not pandemic, we are still taking in applications. And to the point of, if let's say if you really do want to know more about the program, instead of just hearing from myself, we can always host another session, because we've been hosting a lot of virtual hangouts with our Maybank apprentices. So if for you who actually really want to know more about the program, do reach out to us. But before that, I think to your question, whether will there be changes or not, in terms of the assessment, we've got the situation has reshaped a lot of things.
Yeah.
So that's why the physical assessments that we usually have you over to our office may not work right away now. So that's why there are actually some digital assessments that you will actually have to take part, and for us to actually know more about you. Anyway, it is not just an assessment per se. It doesn't mean that you pass a certain score, then you have to, then that's when you get shortlisted. The assessment is again for us to know more about you and for you to know more about us. Remember, the assessment or the selection process or the recruitment process that you're going through, the whole idea is that we are entering a career partnership. So both parties got to know each other, and it is not over a 15-minute conversation.
Yeah.
And then the interview, you know nothing, and you know nothing about us, and we don't know much about you actually. So that's why this process is there for us to know more about you. So if you're invited for the hangout session, then definitely you'll be shortlisted for our, the next few steps of assessment or next few steps of activities with us. And then after that, then we will make a call whether we find you suitable to be part of the program. Bearing in mind is that for those of you who have actually signed up for the program, it doesn't mean that the journey with us stops. If let's say we feel that you're actually more suitable in other positions or other programs, because that particular process that you go through, you actually get opportunity in other parts as well. So that's how we design the different platforms and avenues for you all to actually tell us what you've got there, and then we will see where it fits you best.
Yeah. And once again, when you are in that role, focus and hopefully grow with it, and then the passion will come in. And then, that's when opportunities will pop up now. Okay, just before we wrap up, Sophia, any tips or advice for, our young friends over here who are trying to, are there internships?
We are quite young too. Are we taking in internships? Of course. I do head over to My Roaring Careers, and that's where we have got a define link there. So just put in your application there, and we are taking in internships. In fact, we've onboarded interns as well during MCO, and they've been actually working remotely on so many projects and so many initiatives. So I think we are here to stay. So, and I do understand the worries and the concerns as well. In fact, when we entered MCO, we actually ramped up our recruitment, we ramped up our engagement, because we do know that people are getting very, very anxious about all these things. And I've also personally heard a lot of you guys where your internships are actually declined and either deferred or cancelled and all of that. So I guess this is where we will do our part, and we will ensure we try our best to be able to accommodate as much as we can, because I think Unisty's side also, they are also trying to figure out how long should the internship be and all of that. So I think this is the time where we have to be agile, and we have to really make sure that we can be flexible in that sense. Yeah, so don't worry, recruitment still goes on for us. In fact, more recruitment now. Internships still go on for us as well, so no issues. And we are still running a lot of hangout sessions for people to know more about the opportunities that we've got in the bank. So head on to My Roaring Careers and also GRADUAN to see where those opportunities are.
I think that's really nice. Thank you so much, Sophia, for joining the session, and all of you, like we said, please go to My Roaring Careers and look for the Defy to Define, because there's so many different, I think your range of hangout sessions are really, really wide, as in you go from different aspects. So I think there's something for everybody. So do tune in. Thanks once again, Sophia. I hope to see you soon for coffee. So
definitely.
Okay,
all right.
you.
Thanks for having
Bye.
me. See you guys soon. Bye.
Yes, everybody. Bye.